Hello everyone, welcome back to MAT052. We're going to continue with what we did last week when we started. We had done things like a scatter plot where we had some X and Y variables, and we just listed out some numbers 2, 3, 4, 7, 5, 8. And basically we would kind of saw where we could do a scatter plot. This is a scatter plot. And we could basically, if we did this in Excel, we could do a trend line. And a trend line would go through there like that. And then we would give this an equation, mx plus b. So for this may be something like y is equal to 1.2x plus 3. And then we could use this equation to predict what that value would be for something that I don't have. So I've got all the x's and y's for these, but I wouldn't know it for something else. And then I just take whatever x that was. Let's say 3. I don't have a 3 here, and then I just multiply 3 times 1.2. And then I would get a 3.6 plus 3, so that would have been like a 6.6. Okay, so that's the modeling application that we're doing, and we're just going to continue and look at this. Now, Excel calls it a trend line. For us in statistics, we're going to call it the linear regression. Regression line. And basically, this is a linear regression line because it is a straight line. Okay, there's other forms of regression we could do. We could do like a exponential like that. We could have something like that, but that's a different form of regression, and we don't really cover those. Okay. So let's kind of continue on along here, and that's what we're going to focus on this time is just the line. So here we're just going to practice some equation of a line given a point and the slope. So the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line is y is equal to mx plus b. The m is the slope, right? So that is the change in x divided by the change in y. So if this was one step and this was 2, the y is just the rise over the run. The change in y divided by the change in x, a couple of different ways that you would see this thing. But it would go, when I went over 1, I went up 2, so that slope would be 2. Okay. So it says, find the equation of the line passing through the point and a given slope. So that's kind of what we're going to do here. Okay. The b is the y-intercept. Here would be 0 because we started here. But wherever it starts at, that's the value of b. That's the y-intercept. Okay. So example 1 says find the equation of the line passing through the point 2, 5 with slope m is equal to -3. Okay. So we're not given the b-intercept directly, but we're going to be able to work backwards and find that. But we are given, here's a point that it goes through. It goes through 2, 5, and my slope is -3. So we can get started with just this piece. So I'm going to go y is equal to mx plus b. That's where I'm working toward finding out which one, what is m and what is b, but we're given m. So my first step is just to fill that in, minus 3x plus b. So whatever the x is, I'm going to multiply times -3 and then add the b. Now I'm not given the b directly here, but I am given this point that it passes through. Through the coordinate system, here's the x, here's the y, so I'm just going to plug these things in. Here's my y, there's my x, so I'm going to say 5, that's that guy from the y, is equal to -3 times 2 plus b. So I go through and I solve it. I'm going to do this the same steps every time I use this particular thing. So -6 plus b. Okay. I want to have b all by itself, so I have b is equal to something over here. And in order to get rid of that -6, I want to add +6 to both sides. Okay, keep my equals straight down. So 5 plus 6 is 11. The negative 6 plus 6, well, that's just 0 plus b, and I don't want to carry that around all the time, and that's just 11 is equal to b. Okay, so then I just take this down, and now I can rewrite it. Y is equal to minus 3x plus my 11. And that's how I do that one. And here's the answer to that, as we just found. Okay. So what about if we're given 2 points? This is a different version, so that's one version. If I'm given 2 points, all I need to do is find the slope first and then do exactly what I did before. So again, the general picture of when I'm doing a slope, I've got an x2, here's my x1, here's my y1. So as I've gone from x1 to x2, I've gone up from y1 to y2. So this distance is y2 minus y1. This distance is x2 minus x1. So my slope, the rise over the run, is my y2 minus y1, x2 minus my x1. Okay, so I just have to pick out my points. Let me slide this down a little bit. So I just have to pick up the points. This one is x1, y1. This point would be x2, y2. And again, I'm going to bring that down for you. Okay, so let's look at example 2. Okay, so example 2 says find the equation of the line passing through the points -2, 3, and 2, -1. So I'm given 2 points. I'm given -2, 3, and 2, -1. Okay, so if I'm given my 2 points, I'm not given m, I'm going to find m first. Let me swap pens. So my m is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. I don't mind, it doesn't matter really which one I consider, but this is what I do. I consider me going from x1 to x2, just like the number line, negatives to positive. So this, I would start with my point P1 because this x is further to the left. This would be my point 2. Point 1 has coordinates x1, y1. This is x2, y2. And then I just carry out my operations. y2, -1, minus my y1. This is 3. If this was a negative number, I'd want to do a negative and change that. But I'm just going to leave it like this. My x2, which is 2. And my x1 is -2. So that's what I do for negative numbers. So this is -4, and this is 2 plus 2, which is 4. So my slope is -1. Now, I want to do the very same thing I did last time, and I'm free to use either one of these points. Let's just choose point 2. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to do the very same thing that I did last time. I'm going to slide this up. Y is equal to -1 times x, or just minus x. That's understood at -1 there. Plus b, and then I'm going to use this point. This is my x and my y. So -1 is equal to -2 plus b. And then I'm going to add +2 to both sides to get this to cancel out. So 1, this is 0, is equal to b. So my equation to finish up is just y is equal to -x plus 1. And there's our finished equation. Okay. So here's an example 3. I'm just going to step through this one real quick. To cater a wedding, a catering service charges $8 per person attending plus a flat rate of $365. So for 0 people, I'm still going to have that $365. Okay, so that basically is what the B is all about. This is from my y-intercept. So with 0 people attending, they're still going to have that flat rate of 365. Okay. So here, this is $8 per person. That indicates that this is the slope. Okay. That's per person times X number of people. So I want to write a model which just basically says $8 a person that I'm going to add for every person $8, plus I have my flat rate of 365. Okay, so this would kind of go up like this. So if I took one step over one person, I add $8, so my slope is M is 8 over 1. For every one, I go up 8. 2, that would be up to another, for another person, another 8. So let's extend that. Let's say for 10 people, what would you charge for the catering? It would be Y is equal to 8 times 10 plus 365. So that would be your 365 plus your 80, 14, $445 would be the charge. So here's some practice problems. Here's one with like we originally started with a point in M, and then you're going to solve for B. Here's a very similar thing. Here's a 2 points. You're going to find the slope first, and then you'll pick either one of these points to do what you did up here. Solve for B. Same thing there. And then here's something. Here's a little model that you want to do. Looks like they have raised $50 prior to the candy sale, and they're going to sell candy bars or $250, and then write a formula for the total amount of money raised for the field trip if X candy bars are sold. So you would look like I've already got 50, so Y is equal to 2.50 times X, the number of candy bars, plus the 50 that you've already sold. Okay, and you're going to kind of do these for these next couple of ones. Okay, so take a look at those, do those practice problems, and get those turned in for me, and I'll get them graded. Okay, so we'll see you next time on the next worksheet. Have a good day.